She said it's locked away. She didn't want me going to my own, that's for sure.
The Philippines have lured other volcanologists to dangerous duty. In the spring of 1991, Mount Pinatubo begins to rumble. 100,000 Filipinos live in its shadow, along with 14,000 Americans at Clark Air Force Base.
We knew from the geologic history that Pinatubo erupted very infrequently, but the eruptions were always huge.
David Harlow leads an American geological team sent to help Filipino scientists assess the threat of this volcano. The seismograph needles are a bad sign.
Hope they got a version they're gonna drop in there or something.
Geologists are flown up to the volcano to assess its danger.
Yeah, I'm beginning to get nervous now.
First, they find evidence that deadly pyroclastic flows have erupted in the past. Then, seismic data shows swarms of small earthquakes rising toward the volcano's summit. Sulfur dioxide levels are high, and the worst sign is a lava dome, which may be plugging up enormous energy.
That's when we began to take Pinatubo very, very seriously.
A week after Harlow arrives, the volcano belches steam and ash. The scientists recommend the evacuation of families living within 6 miles of the crater. A week of more volcanic activity forces Harlow and his colleagues to make a gutsy call. The volcano will erupt very soon. It's time to evacuate over 75,000 people.
The signal to evacuate was given at dawn. At alert level 4, the volcano could erupt within the next 24 hours.
Now, only a small security force and the scientists remain.
We had just very quiet moments wondering, what have we done? What if this thing now doesn't erupt?
But it does, right on cue.
Rambo passing through at the extreme upper level. Currently about 65, and we just watched it go boom, almost right off of our skull. Yeah, that's true.
The terror it causes is captured by a fleeing serviceman.
Hey. This is the largest one we had so far. Do we have everybody? We got to get out of here.
Yeah, I seen that thing started going, and I was gone.
I think my underwear is about 2.5 miles that way.
I was jumping up and down, and I was very excited, I have to say. Not only because it was just a great eruption to watch, but because we had forecast it.
The team waits anxiously as eruptions continue for 3 days. Seismicity builds to a critical mass until Pinatubo delivers the largest eruption the Earth has seen in 80 years.
The Pinatubo eruption was the equivalent of a continuous atomic bomb.
The scientists begin to retreat, then hold an emergency meeting.
We decided that we had been hopelessly lacking in courage and scientific curiosity, so we moved back onto the base again to be a little closer to what was going on.
The team bunkers down on the deserted base. Then, seismologist Jim Morey sees something terrifying.
Suddenly, the 2 seismographs between the volcano and our observatory went dead in succession. And so what that was indicating is probably some large flow was coming off the mountain towards us and had destroyed the seismographs. That was one of the times when I first began to think, what am I really doing here?
The scientists finally retreat into an apocalypse. Ash now blocks the sun, turning day to night.
We were just being pelted by cherry-sized rocks. It felt like the sky was coming down.
By this time, a typhoon had come in. So not only was the eruption going on, but a hurricane was going on.
There was a low roar in the background, which turned out to be this large lahar or mud flow that was going down a nearby river valley. One of my worries, though, as we were driving away was seeing all the people that were out on the streets we actually stopped and filled up our van with people to help, as many as we could to get away from the area.
As day broke, it was clear that up to 10,000 people had been saved by the prediction. The achievement of a lifetime.
If I had to imagine the one thing that I wanted to contribute